Alarming new report shows that the sugar industry sweetened the truth, suppressing the health risks of sugar.
The tobacco companies made up back in the 50s. Actually, some of those the sugar people had done even before that.
You probably love sugar as much as I do. It's sweet, it's delicious, and it's in almost everything we eat. But did you know that sugar has a dark side? A side that's been hidden from us for centuries by powerful interests and shady deals? Well, today we're going to expose the shocking secrets of the sugar industry. Let's get ready to taste the bitter truth about sugar. Sugar wasn't always a common commodity. In fact, it used to be a rare and expensive spice that only the rich and powerful could afford. But how did it become so widespread and cheap? The answer is simple: slavery. Sugar was produced in massive plantations in the West Indies and Brazil, where millions of enslaved Africans and indigenous people were forced to work under brutal conditions. They had to cut, crush, and boil the sugarcane, often losing limbs or lives in the process. The plantations were hell on earth, but they made a fortune for their owners and fueled the growth of American colonies. Sugar didn't just make money, it also made politics. In 1816, the U.S. Congress imposed tariffs on foreign sugar, giving an advantage to domestic sugar produced by slave labor in Louisiana. By the 1820s, a sinister scheme allowed sugar planters to expand their lands by using their estates and slaves as collateral for loans from banks. These banks then sold bonds backed by slave labor to investors, creating a financial system based on human misery. But slavery isn't just a thing of the past. It still exists today in some parts of the world, especially in the sugar industry. In the Dominican Republic, thousands of Haitian workers are trapped in labor camps called bétais, where they work long hours for meager wages that are paid in company scrip instead of real money. They have no rights, no freedom, and no hope of escape. They are lured into this situation by traffickers who promise them a better life. And you know what? You might be unknowingly supporting this modern-day slavery by buying sugar from these sources. But slavery isn't the only dirty secret of the sugar industry. They also have a history of lying and manipulating science to hide the harmful effects of sugar on our health. In the 1960s, the Sugar Research Foundation paid off Harvard scientists to downplay sugar's role in heart disease and shift the blame to fat and cholesterol. These biased studies influenced scientific debates for decades and misled millions of people into believing that sugar was harmless. But it's not. Sugar is addictive. It activates the same reward system in our brains as drugs like cocaine, making us crave more and more of it. And the food industry knows this. They engineer high sugar foods to override our self-control and make us overeat them. But we can't help it. We're wired to love sugar. But sugar isn't just bad for our health. It's also bad for our planet. Sugarcane farming uses huge amounts of water and land, destroying natural habitats and biodiversity. It also emits nitrous oxide, a greenhouse gas that's 300 times more potent than carbon dioxide, contributing to global warming and climate change. And guess what? Climate change can also affect sugarcane production by altering temperature and rainfall patterns. But what if I told you there's a better way to enjoy sweetness without all these drawbacks? There's a natural fruit that can make anything taste sweet without adding any calories or chemicals. It's called the miracle fruit, and it contains a protein called miraculin that binds to your taste buds and makes sour foods taste sweet. Imagine eating a lemon and tasting lemonade, or a grapefruit and tasting candy. Sounds amazing, right? Well, too bad you can't have it, because in 1977, the FDA banned it from being sold as a sweetener, thanks to pressure from the sugar industry. Instead, we got aspartame, an artificial sweetener that has been linked to various health problems. Do you think the sugar industry has our best interest? What are some alternatives to sugar that you would consider using? Let us know in the comments below.